G'day, ZiggyD here, and today I'm going to be taking you guys on a run I did this morning, a Paragon experience farming run, with a new build I've been working on, which I'm calling the CinderStrafe build. Now I'll just show you guys the experience I have here to begin with, and I have, starting off with 18,499,434. So let's go ahead and jump into a farming run. And we'll start the timer now. Alright, so the first thing I do is just go ahead and set up my passives and things like that. I have to apologise to you guys for the shoddy frame rate on this run. Just this strafe build really kills my frame rate, especially heading into new areas. I've done a few runs, but I still seem to get a bit of asset loading lag like that. But this build's a little bit of a different take on a strafe build that I showed earlier. It's still got the same idea of resource management, exchanging discipline for hatred and keeping those two full, and I'm also using Night Stalker to keep that discipline up. So you'll notice my resources dance around quite a bit during the run in the different areas, and depending on what I'm doing. The only thing that's really slowing me down on these runs is the actual elite packs, which I think that might be able to be helped with a Stone of Jordan in the future, but I'm kind of wanting to use a Hellfire ring for now. So after clearing that, and I'm getting 2 stacks, which isn't too bad. I actually get pretty bad RNG in here though. Usually you should be leaving here with at least 4 stacks, but I think I only end up leaving with 3. So I'll show how I counter with that a little bit in the future. Now, surprisingly, I'm able to do this with pretty low HP. I think my actual HP is like, it's less than 30k, maybe 28 or 26 or something like that. And I have decent resists for a Demon Hunter, but nothing outstanding. It's just the abilities that I'm using to also fuel my damage output is giving me a lot of protection at the same time. So there goes the only elite pack in here, which is pretty unlucky. I kind of want to avoid killing trash mobs as much as possible before I have those 5 stacks to maximize that efficiency. But I also need to keep that discipline up through Night Stalker. So since I only had 3 stacks, I head straight into the Tower of the Curse to try and see if there was an elite here, and luckily there was a champion here. So I'll kill him before heading into the Ariat Crater 2, because Ariat Crater 2 has a pretty high trash mob density compared to the first 2 zones. So getting an extra stack in there will get me to those 5 stacks quicker and maximize that experience. I did about 3 runs this morning, and this was marginally better than the second run. The first run I kind of screwed up on and ended up dying in it, so trying to go in this. Still sort of getting used to this build, because it's quite a bit, it plays quite differently to the previous strafe build that I showed. So the strafe build is based on a redditor named Darehouse's strafe build, and I was really interested in, I'd never been interested in strafe before. I just sort of saw it as pretty gimmicky, but he looked at the problem of maintaining a strafe build a little bit differently, and so I guess the same idea of mechanics that goes into the Whirlwind Barbarian and what keeps Wrath of the Berserker up and things like that. And the same sort of thing happens here with the Demon Hunter. Instead of my Whirlwinds ticking mobs and keeping my Wrath of the Berserker up, which is my understanding of how Whirlwind Barbarians work, my strafe damage output is causing crits, which is keeping my discipline up. And then in my discipline in turn fuels my hatred. However, I started noticing with Darehouse's build that once I broke the 100k DPS mark, which I'm sitting at about 120k now, I think, I could ditch one of my hatred dumps from I used to use the Shadow Power passive, the rune that would give you hatred from discipline. So I ditched that and put Volt in, and I noticed I was picking up health clobes faster, so I didn't really need that extra hatred regen. So now just the hatred regen from Shadow, Smoke Screen is enough to keep me going in addition to the health globes. The main thing is really maintaining that discipline, so I'll be attacking trash mobs even when I shouldn't really be, just to try and keep that discipline up. And pretty much I'm just holding right click down to strafe and then vaulting while I'm going. So you'll see an example of it here, just strafing and vaulting at the same time. So here's where I really shine in the keep depths. Just check down here, and I got pretty lucky and there was a elite pack here. So although I started off a bit rocky, I've had pretty good luck since then. I think I got a fleeting shrine earlier, and I don't think I got any empowered shrines, but they can also really help. So this is where I really shine, because those grenades, they don't target the best. So I'm having like a close in area like this with plenty of walls for the grenades to bounce off, I'll just end up hitting a lot more mobs, and they're a lot more tightly clustered, so that means a lot more crit and a lot more discipline. And I can keep vaulting for longer, so this sort of shows the slowdown I'm having in elites at the moment. I'm wondering if a crit strafe Stone of Jordan might end up helping a bit with that, but yeah, I can't really afford to lose the DPS from my I've got a semi-decent rare ring and a Hellfire ring, which I can't really afford to lose because of the experience, so I'm not really sure how to go with that, but as I continue gearing, I expect I'll be able to keep improving with this. As I was saying earlier, my hatred generation's pretty okay now, like with the Templar fueling my hatred regen, the Bat, and the health globes. I barely even need the smokescreen hatred dump, so yeah. So I do a pretty good job of pathing through the keeps too on this particular run. Often I'll like run to a dead end, and what I'll do then is I'll teleport back and come up from keep depth 3. I don't want to avoid keep depth 3 in this pure experience run though, because I think it does slow down your experience a little bit. So I think I end up coming to the end point here. So I've cleared out a huge amount of the level in that one run, so I decided not to try for a second run in it and just instead move on to Arrakis. I always get Ruckus and Corsic confused, so through Corsic and Fields of Slaughter, which is an excellent place for experience. Now I've been trying to like modify, instead of doing a big circle in here, I'll try and snake my way through that center zone, because there's often an elite pack in there. So I come up through here and then I hook back down and then do a big circle after that. But I'm still trying to get the positioning of everything, the layout, down a bit, so I end up backtracking a bit here, which is not really what you want to do, although I do end up encountering this champion pack, which probably made it worth it on this particular run, but you want to avoid backtracking as much as possible, especially when I need to keep hitting mobs with Strafe to keep my discipline up. And right now I'm sort of wasting discipline regen from the preparation. I'm using the slow discipline regen preparation rune because I've only got 30 max discipline, so fueling that extra discipline is important. Now you'll notice I'm wearing an Italia set, but that's not the legacy set. I do have a legacy set, but it's using a crossbow, so it's not very effective for farming despite the extra discipline regen. If you did have a legacy Natalia set, this would be insane, because you would barely even need to use the strafe to keep discipline up. It would just probably be kept up by itself. So those two discipline regen sources, Night Stalker and the legacy set, would be crazy. But yeah, it's not something I'll be trying anytime soon. The marks are pretty expensive. So I'll do like an actual build guide to this, probably in my next video or the video after that, and I'll explain exactly how to gear for it, the skills that I'm using exactly. But I just wanted to show you guys the potential that Strafe has, because I think I can break the 1 million experience per minute mark pretty soon, and I come pretty close to this in this run, which you'll see in a second. So we'll head back to town, and I stop the timer about here. So we end up with a run of 7 minutes 58, which I'll just round up to 8 minutes, like I'll give some room there. So I started at 18,499,000, and the end run experience was 25,909,118. So that puts the run total at 7,409,684, which is about, divided by the 8 minute run, that's 926,210. So my math might be a little bit off there, but hopefully it's close enough. So per hour, multiplied up by 60, that's 55,500,000 per hour. So that's far better than I was doing with my previous Strafe run, and I think even better than I could do with the traditional Hungering Arrow multi-shot or Lightning Ball build, which is kind of what I'm going for. I kind of want to avoid that build because I don't really enjoy playing it at all, but I quite enjoy this. So if I can get this to be even close as efficient to that sort of build, then I'll be happy. I don't even care if it ends up being more efficient. If it ends up being more efficient, then that's great, but I'm not too worried about that. So, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts, and if you have a Demon Hunter that uses the more traditional build and have a run, an experience per minute or experience per hour figure, and maybe like your gearing level is comparative to mine, then I'd love to hear what your figures are, so that I can just sort of compare how this is going. I feel like 55 million experience per hour is pretty good. A lot of whirlwind barbs seem to be getting around 60 or maybe a little bit more than that if they're well geared. So I feel like that's done pretty well. But yeah, I'll make sure to cover this build in a future video, so be on the lookout for that. That's it for today. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.